Hey everyone, Tyson the Subaru Specialist from Subaru Prince George here. And today we're taking a look at the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Touring in the Crystal White Pearl. Now, the Crosstrek Touring here in Canada is the second trim level in the Crosstrek lineup. It's a step above the Convenience, step below the Onyx and the Limited. Mid-level trim, middle of the road. So aesthetically, you can tell from the wheels that it's a Touring versus the Convenience. It's the same wheel, but you get the machined alloy face as opposed to just the pure black. And this is the first trim level where you get LED fog lights. The Convenience has little plugs there, but you get the smaller, more aggressively styled LED headlights on those new Crosstreks. This was redesigned for 2024, 2025. It's pretty much a continuation of that. LED headlights with high beam assist, and they're steering responsive, so they do swivel left and right when you turn the wheel like that. You get that new hexagonal honeycombed shaped grille that you see on a lot of the Subarus, and you've got those gray metallic wings that go off into each headlight, kind of continues the flow of the vehicle. By those fog lights, you do have those kind of C-channel cutouts, and you'll see that on a lot of them. You see that on the Outback, and just adds to a more aggressive look. Now, we do have a lot of cladding. It continues from those C cutouts, front bumper, goes all the way around the wheel arch here. And essentially Subaru's put this black plastic cladding, and it's textured around high wear areas where you'd get rock chips, stone chips. We have some functional vents there. Mirror caps are painted gray. Gray is kind of the highlight color on the exterior of the Touring, regardless of exterior color. And this is the smallest crossover in the lineup. This is essentially an Impreza on stilts. That's how they came out initially in 2013, and it's kind of the same thing, very, very similar. At the back of the Crosstrek, fuel door, rear passenger side. If the driver door is unlocked, fuel door is unlocked. If you lock the driver door, pin shoots out, locks in the corresponding hole. Driver door is locked, ergo, fuel door is locked. And you just run these on regular, nothing fancy, no mid-grade or premium required. I do really like these new style taillights you see on the Crosstreks, how they wrap around. I like the black and red. I think they've done a good job with that. And my favorite view of the Crosstrek, specifically the non-wilderness Crosstreks, is the rear three-quarter view. I think it's a beautiful looking crossover. Tons of ground clearance. We've got 8.7 inches of minimum ground clearance. That's more than your average half-ton pickup. At the back, you've got your reflectors down low in the cladding. Now, on either side of the reflector, the outboard side, on each rear reflector, we do have a functional vent for airflow, kind of like the front. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but you can see inside there is some white paint. It is functional. I do also get asked about this all the time. This can be popped off with flathead screwdriver, something of the like, and that's where you screw in an eye bolt that is with your spare tire tools. You can use that as a recovery point or a tie down point if you have something on the roof like kayaks or canoes and you need that extra stability for a longer object. Easy open hatch, and I tell people, you open it, just line your fingers up with these two stars. It's pretty much right there. Goes all the way across. Backup camera, and then we do have the secret pin code access button right there. I'll include the video about the secret pin code access in the video description. You can check that out, it's pretty cool. There's a lot more storage in the back of the Crosstrek behind the second row seats than people expect. Tall, wide, and deep, lots of room for sports equipment, luggage, the like. We do have a nice little halogen cargo light here. That'll shut off when you close the hatch, or you can just turn it off and have it off all the time. We've got cup/bottle holders on each side for tailgating. Yes, that is actually what they're for. Subaru Canada training told me that. We've got grocery bag hooks, which are very, very handy. You hook the loop of your grocery bag around it, and it stops them from going tumbling. Now, these bottom ones are not grocery bag hooks. You can get a cargo net accessory that ties into those and into your hard mount physical tie downs at the front, which is pretty nice. Secures a lot of stuff. Third seat belt comes out of the back here, gets run through this funny little C-shaped thing, and then you end up with a 3-point harness for everyone, which is really nice. You've got the latch system, lower anchors, and tethers for children on the back here. And if you need additional storage, you can dramatically increase the amount of storage in a Crosstrek. Some people will be able to car camp in it, depending upon how tall you are. There's a little bit of a lip there, but nothing crazy. This folds down a little bit, so a little bit of an incline, but nothing insane by any means. Now to close it, There's the handle. It's easy close. Nothing crazy. We've got roof rails on the Crosstrek. You can get crossbars for them, carry things on the roof. They come with them from factory standard. The rails, not the crossbars. Very, very functional. Second row. Seats go up one-handed. And essentially, if you can see the red on that, it's not locked. Now it's locked. And in the Touring, we get the upgraded premium cloth. And if you look carefully, there's actually a little fleck of green in it. It does feel a little nicer than the convenience cloth, but cloth is cloth. I had a cloth Touring Crosstrek for a few years, and it was very, very resilient. Got great headroom. We've got good leg room. Taller people will fit in here without issue. Got the anchors back behind there for car seats. This is the first trim level that comes with a fold down armrest with integrated cup holders. Convenience doesn't get that. And then out of the center console, we do have 2 USB ports, and they'll keep everyone connected on longer trips. It's just for charging. It is not for playing music. So no one playing DJ from the back seat out of those USBs. On the back of the front passenger seat, we do have a map back pocket. And then we have a textured step here with a mountain monograph. And they want you using that as a step if you're loading something up top as opposed to the tire, because while this is more central to the car, and 2, the tire sits inside the fender. Like if I look straight down, like there's a decent amount of tire inside of that. You're not gonna get as much of your foot on that as you will that. And if I'm standing on it, dead center's right here. I'm not even at the rack system or the rail system, so I'll be leaning, potentially putting myself off balance in a precarious situation. So that's why they've done that. Just below that, I get asked about this all the time, but more specifically on lighter colored vehicles because it pops out this little slot. That is what this extra side impact crash safety bar locks into, and that's designed to stop intrusion into the passenger cab in the event of a side collision. So hopefully none of you ever need to experience that, but it is very, very safe. Subaru's all about safety. Got our hard touch door card with our soft touch armrest. Do have some contrast stitching there. Power window switch. And something that I really like, even where you have your thumb here, it's semi soft touch. I wouldn't say this is the same softness as the top of the armrest, but that's nice. And then I like the handle. It's not just straight down. There's actually a bulge here so you can get your fingers under it. Better grip when closing. I know it's a small detail, but I like it. And we have a little bit of storage with a bottle holder there. If you need it, child lock. Very simple. Solid sounding doors. I don't know if the mic picked that up, so let's do that again. They feel solid, they sound solid when you close them. Now, the front door does have the proximity setting, so to lock it, we just touch these lines. To unlock it, I simply put my hand in the handle. I've got the vehicle running, so it's not gonna do that. So I'm gonna pause it and shut it off, and we'll be right back. So I've paused it, or well, I unpaused the video, shut off the car. So if we lock it, this just has to be within 46 inches. The sensors are on the front driver door, front passenger door. So I've locked it, I'm gonna put it in my pocket. It's locked. Now to unlock it, all I have to do within the key, so long as the key is within 46 inches, I simply put my hand in the handle and it unlocks. There's a small audible chirp and my hazards will flash when I do a command like that. And then to lock it, I've got the lines there. Again, the key has to be within 46 inches and it's locked. Gives you a second to pull on the handle, but if you wait too long, it unlocks. Very, very handy. Front door card looks very similar to that of the rear door card, except the door card itself is soft touch in addition to the armrest. The front 2 windows are auto power windows. We've got regular power windows for the rear, and if you want to stop people from playing with their windows, window lock. Our power mirror adjustment here, left and right, and then it's a toggle like a joystick to adjust your mirror. There's a little bit more storage in the front door than the rear door cards, and the bottle holder, it's got a larger entrance to it, so it's probably a little easier to put your bottles in it. The seat is the same seating material up front as it is in the second row, that upgraded cloth. And these seats are specifically designed for long distance travel. You get less vibration and harshness transmitted through the tires and the chassis with this seat. So Subaru's done a lot of research, very, very comfortable. I mean, obviously, you have to drive one to experience it, but it's a big difference. You're less fatigued at the end of the day when you get less vibration and harshness through it. Seat is manual, but height adjustable. You can raise it. I don't know if you can see it raising in the video because the camera's probably shaking when I do it, but you can raise it and you can lower it. You can make people of varying heights, leg and arm lengths fit comfortably. It goes pretty much all the way down to the ground and you can have it pretty darn tall, pretty much the headrest just about touching the roof. On the inside, by the driver's left knee, we have scroll wheel. That's for the brightness of your gauges. Then we have this faux carbon fiber trim. Got a little bit of texture to it, but kind of fits in well. Now, it is push button start, so with that proximity key, foot on the brake, light goes green. Key just has to be inside the vehicle. Foot's not on the brake. On. There you go. This is the first trim level where you get blind spot detection, and those little lights illuminate orange on the corresponding side when someone's in your blind spot or is going to be in your blind spot momentarily. It's a nice aid. It's not an excuse not to shoulder check, but it's nice to know. It's a nice little extra warning. And actually, speaking of visibility, shoulder checking in this, you got good visibility. Like I said, I had one for years and it was fantastic. We get our leather wrap steering wheel, and this is the first trim level where you get the heated steering wheel. There's a faint orange light there, probably not showing up that great in the light, but you get heat everywhere that I'm touching there. You don't get it between the seams. There's a little dead spot down there, but it gets absolutely cooking. It's fantastic. Steering wheel controls. Left-hand side is pretty much to do with Bluetooth and audio controls, making and taking calls, control the volume of the calls and the music. We can access Google Assistant or Siri through wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. We can switch from AM to FM to satellite to USB, whatever music source we want. And then, presets. Volume is left to right. This little eye will give us a little message up here when we've got a warning light up. And we're getting a little bit of sun glare. So I'm actually going to pull this in the shade. I'll be right back, guys. That's better. So yeah, that'll give us a little icon. If you get a little orange icon, it'll tell you what it means within reason. This toggle gives us a different piece of info on our little center display, depending what we want to look at. So it's kind of a little warm out there. But yeah, you've got your regular tach. You have a digital speedometer at all times. You have your analog speedometer at all times. Really easy to read. Right-hand side is to do with driving. So we have our adaptive cruise and our lane centering. Both of those use these 3 black boxes, those color stereo EyeSight cameras, to look for cyclists, road lines, pedestrians, and other vehicles. And this third camera here, that's the wide angle mono camera, and that increases EyeSight's field of view left and right. Much better than just the 2 that they had before. They do automatic emergency braking, which is fantastic. Hopefully none of you ever need to experience that. But when I turn on cruise, so it's off, turn it on, we get an image of the Crosstrek there, and we have 4 bars ahead of it, all the way down to 1. The bars indicate the follow distance behind the vehicle ahead of you that you will follow at if you catch up while using cruise. So if I set cruise, I get to the speed I want, I pull down and set cruise. Those 3 horizontal lines underneath your digital speedometer will change to whatever speed you're at. 4 bars at 100 kilometers an hour will follow the vehicle ahead of you at a set distance of 150 to 180 feet. So a good safe distance. And when the EyeSight cameras can see a vehicle, you'll see it up there. It'll actually put a little vehicle ahead of you, which is nice. Now, if you want to follow closer, you just press this down arrow, and each time you press it, it goes down and you can follow closer. It's nice aid. I didn't think I would ever care for adaptive cruise. It's fantastic. We have lane centering, and that's little hands on the steering wheel. Above 60 kilometers an hour, if the EyeSight cameras can see a road line, whichever side it can see, whether it's the left or the right or both, they will illuminate white. So it's 60 kilometers an hour and above. And when it does that, works with cruise fantastically. It'll actually give you gentle steering input to keep you centered in your lane. There's a video going over the EyeSight driving assist that I just put out, I think, yesterday. If you're curious about how that looks and what that looks like, check that out. Below that, we have our intelligent and sport driving modes. Very, very handy. So intelligence, what it defaults to for everyday driving. Sport is for more spirited. Faster driving, you can do it on the fly. Yellow line's a little bit more aggressive. Good for passing. Now, we have an 11.6-inch touchscreen infotainment system in the Touring and above. This is essentially a tablet. Let's be honest. It's bigger than an iPad. It's not the biggest screen in the industry either. I just peeled off the shipping plastic. And they kind of broke it into 3 portions here. Top portion, we've got what we're listening to. We'll always have an outside temperature. We'll always have a clock. We've got widgets, which we can change. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know which ones I choose, because most people like this. Date, oil temp, water temp. We've got weather, which is part of your satellite radio trial for 3 months. And then this is where you gain access to X mode, which is like 4 low and a pickup. So you have to be going under 20 kilometers an hour to engage it. And it kicks out if you go above 40. So X mode is on. X mode is on. The little rough terrain mode. icon down there beside the P for park. And then you get the little downhill descent control icon in green there. So that'll hold you under a certain speed while you're going down steep hills. Main portion of the screen, we've got radio, media, and phone tiles, which are pretty self-explanatory. Radio is going to switch from FM to AM to Sirius XM. Media is anything that isn't in a car, so USB, Bluetooth, auxiliary, that sort of thing. Phone hooks your phone up to Bluetooth. Under apps, as I'd mentioned previously, you do get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in this, so go into that. You do gain access to the My Subaru app after the vehicle's registered in your name and you get your setup emails. That is a 3-year trial, and then this is a subscription base after that, and that allows you to remote start your vehicle from your phone, in addition to a host of other things like locking and unlocking doors, diagnosing check engine lights, that sort of thing. SiriusXM Travel Link will allow you to check stocks and weather, that sort of thing. They double up there. There's lots of settings you can play with. I did do a full video on the 11.6-inch touchscreen. I'll include that in the video description as well. Driving statistics, you can set maintenance reminders. Valet mode, so you can lock people out from changing settings. Auto vehicle hold, you can turn off traction control. It doesn't allow you to do it with X mode. And you can add additional shortcuts. So if there's somewhere in the settings you go to often, you can do that. Put it in reverse, backup camera pops up, shows you the top of the bumper there, so you have something to relate to, and you can clean the backup camera from inside the vehicle, which is the best thing ever. So handy for our roads up here, Forest Service roads, or in the winter it gets caked up with snow. It's fantastic to have. Below that, we've got our home button. This always takes you to the home. You can disable or turn off auto start stop, and when you do that, the auto start stop icon goes in orange. Pretty much anything on Subaru's dash in orange means it's disabled or turned off. We've got auto vehicle hold, which is a brake holder for construction drive-through rush hour traffic. And then if we press this little car, it gives us more settings. And Subaru kind of doubles or triples up on things. So like I can turn off auto start stop from here. Driving assistance, I can change some of the stuff. I could turn off blind spot detection. If for some reason I didn't want to be alerted when someone is in my blind spot, I can change it to miles per hour, miles per gallon if you're traveling in the States, and warning volumes. So that's for like imminent danger, you're going to crash, that sort of thing. To the right, the ability to hook up multiple phones. You can set driver profiles, which aren't really beneficial in this trim. On the right, we have our heated mirrors, back window, and windshield wiper deicer. So where your wipers sit on the front windshield, they have a heating element. It's fantastic for the winter. And then we've got our climate controls, and it is dual zone. We have physical buttons on either side, and it goes up or down in 0.5 degree increments. Or I can simply touch the screen. I can click, I can drag, I can sync it back to driver controlled, or I can use the buttons. I can control where I want the airflow being directed. And if I want recirc, AC, max AC on, all at the click of a button. Now, if I don't touch anything on this screen for a little bit, it will just go back to the last screen I was on. I think it's about 5 seconds. So you don't have to worry about pressing that X up top every time you make a change. So if you're driving, you make a change, you don't have to worry about exiting out. It'll go to your last screen. And below the screen, we have 2 USBs, an auxiliary, and a rubberized device storage area. It's a nice area, out of the way, holds a decent sized phone. My only complaint is when you have the headlights turned on, there's a little illumination light here. I don't know if you can see my hands, and you can't dim that. It's on, and when your phone is facing up, that can be a little distracting at night. That's my only critique about this. I've solved that with a piece of electrical tape. Low tech, but it works. Automatic CVT, grip the front, squeeze, and you can put it in park, reverse, neutral. If we pull it to the right, we enter manual mode. That puts us in first gear. And you can see we're in first, now we're in second. And that's where the paddles, upshift and downshift, come in. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, auto and manual. It's not as aggressive as a manual. It's not going to let me start in sixth or anything like that, so you are limited. And it's not going to let you stall out, but you can downshift going down hills, which is nice, holds you back a little bit. Below that, this still has shipping plastic on, just because some people like to peel that themselves. Park brake, it's electronic. I pulled it up to activate it. Red light, still get the red light. Now if I push down on it to press the brake pad, foot on the brake, push down, off it goes. Super easy. I don't often use this unless I'm parked on a very steep hill, and I almost never use these in the winter. Never want them to freeze on. With the cloth seats in the Touring, heated seats, high and low for both the driver and passenger. They heat up super quickly. If you leave these turned on and you remote start it from the app, or from the physical remote starter accessory, they will turn on as well, which is really nice. We have some offset cup holders that are easily accessible. They both have drink raisers. So if you have taller drinks, you pull this out and it lets the drink sit down a little bit more securely when you're taking corners. It's less likely to fall over. And when the drink raiser's in there, small drinks aren't just gonna be gripped by the lid. We've got a 12-volt power point, a little bit of storage in there. We have a semi-soft touch armrest, and it's not hard touch, but it's not soft touch like leather. And when you open it, there's a ton of storage in there. And they have slots to run cords out of, but there's no power points, no 12-volt, no USBs in there, so kind of an odd choice that they kept that. I would have liked to see a power point in there, but we have USBs in throughout the car. Up top, we've got SOS and roadside assistance. So this is part of your 3-year My Subaru Connected Services trial you get with most new Subarus. When it's enrolled, you'll get a little green light. Blue is for roadside. SOS, no, that's concierge and roadside. And that's SOS. So if you're in an emergency situation, airbag doesn't go off, you're in an accident, you feel unsafe, there's a medical emergency, gets you the people that can help you. Got our map lights. Got our vanity mirror with our adjustable visor, an extender, which is really nice. And then we got panic handles on all 4 corners, which is really nice. Now, I'm gonna pull back into the sun and I'm gonna show you guys under the hood. So I'm back in the sun and I'm gonna leave it running for this, but to pop the hood, you go down here, bottom left. You have to reach back a little further than you think, but you pull that. And opening this hood is pretty much the same thing for all Subarus. Essentially face the front, put your hand in to the right of the Subaru logo, move from right to left. And that's the latch, you're moving from right to left. And under the hood of the Touring, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder boxer engine producing 152 horsepower. Plenty of power, it's very peppy vehicle, very torquey. And the fuel efficiency in these is ridiculous, but looks pretty much like the 2.5. Unless you know it's a 2-liter, you can't really tell unless you're driving. And what Subaru has done under the hood is everything in yellow is what the average consumer is going to touch. So we've got our dipstick. We have our oil filler right next to our top mount oil filter. We have our coolant overflow reservoir, our washer fluid reservoir, and we have brake fluid. We have easy access to the battery and really easy access to the air filter if you need to change that. Now to close these, I just simply like to drop them. I don't like to put my hand on and push down. I'm a bigger guy. I feel like I'm gonna break it, even if that's not unlikely. I just don't like that feeling. So that is a quick look at the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Touring in the crystal white pearl. 2-liter 4-cylinder boxer engine with 152 horsepower. Smallest crossover / SUV in Subaru's lineup. Got 8.7 inches of minimum ground clearance. And the Touring is kind of your middle of the road. So good balance of cost effectiveness and features. I'm Tyson, the Subaru specialist from Subaru Prince George. Thanks for sticking with me for my walkthrough of the 25 Crosstrek Touring behind me here. If you guys have any questions about this car behind me, something you saw in the video, or any Subaru questions in general, please put them in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys. Thanks again for watching. We'll talk soon.